According to the website Ecology, last accessed February 28, 2018, every single second, 2 people will die. Death is something that we all have in common. We will all someday die, and everyone has some kind of interaction with death. With that alarmingly high rate of death, we never think that we would be affected by it. We never think that we will be in the situation where we have to deal with a loved one that has died. And that's how I was. I knew that someday my mom would die. I just didn't think it would be when I was 19. February 10th, 2018. What happened on February 8th, 2018? New York Times, published February 10th, 2018, wrote that on this day, Ariana Kukras accused her swimming coach of sexual assault. Chloe Grace Mortez turned 21. Roughly 345,600 babies were born. We all experienced February 10th, 2018, but we all had a very different perspective of it. February 10th, 2018, the day that changed my life forever, the day my mom died. The day started as any other would. We just got a bunch of snow, so when I woke up, I went to take my dogs for the walk. My mom was already outside shoveling the driveway. After walking the dogs, I came in and went back to my room. About 5 minutes later, my mom came down to my room to say good morning. I remember sarcastically apologizing to her about helping with the driveway. In return, she said she wasn't done yet. I laughed and mentioned how I had to leave soon to go to a friend's house. And she rolled her eyes and went upstairs to take a shower. I got ready, ran upstairs to tell my mom that I was leaving. She said goodbye and reminded me of our cousin's party that night. After visiting my friend's house, I texted my mom saying that I was just gonna go home. I wasn't feeling well to go to the party. Last words my mom ever said to me. Okay, drive safe. Of course, I didn't know it at the time. I got home, my youngest sister decided to go to the party with my mom, so it's just me and my other sister at home. 7 p.m. Text from Madeline, the youngest. Mom doesn't feel well. We're staying at grandma's. I wasn't worried. My mom had a high blood pressure, and things like this tended to happen a lot. 11 p.m. Got a call from my dad. I ignored it. I was trying to sleep. 11:01 p.m. Another call. Ignored. 11:02 p.m. Another call. I finally answer it. He says he's almost to my house. My mom passed out and stopped breathing. She was being rushed to a hospital. You know when people say when they get news about their life and all of a sudden everything starts to go in slow motion? Well, that's a real thing. I ran upstairs to get my other sister. 11:10 p.m. My dad picked us up. We're on our way to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, I called my grandma to get the address. My mom was taken to a hospital in Galena. I remember asking my grandma, "How's my mom?" She responded with, "Okay, we'll talk about it when you get here." So I stopped worrying. My mom was fine. It was probably her blood pressure, and we would probably just have to make sure that she was actually taking her blood pressure medicine. We finally arrived. I run into the hospital, go up to the front desk, and ask the lady if I can see my mom. Once my dad and sister got inside, she rushed us into this small room. I saw someone laying down and immediately thought it was my mom. When I noticed it was my younger sister, I started looking around the room. My grandma, 2 of my aunts, and Madeline. They all looked like they were crying. I smiled and asked where my mom was. She didn't make it. The words that would haunt me for the rest of my life. I remember yelling, "What do you mean she didn't make it?" over and over again. My mind was going a million miles an hour. My mom was fine that morning. No signs of her being dead within 12 hours. I didn't know how to process it. Heart attack. That night, that's all we knew. My mom had died of a heart attack. A few days later, the coroner called us to tell us what really happened. My mom had a blood clot. According to the coroner, a blood clot is a bunch of blood cells that stick all together. Blood clots aren't always life-threatening. In fact, most people have them, and we don't ever even know it. The blood clot in my mom, the night of February 10th, 2018, entered into her lungs and then went to an artery in her heart. Once it hit her heart, she had the heart attack and instantly died. There was nothing the medics could have done. She was gone before they even got there, and there was no way to tell that she even had the blood clot in the first place. My mom was my best friend. She knew literally everything about me, and I knew everything about her. She would always tell me that her life didn't start until she had me. I don't know why God took her so soon. I don't really know anything at this point, but here's what I do know. I do know that my mom loved me. I do know that my mom was loved by very, very much by a lot of people. I do know that she lived her life to the absolute fullest, never a dull moment. I do know she loved greatly and fiercely to anyone she met. I do know I am the person I am today because of her. And lastly, I do know that I will live my life as she did, with no regrets, always forgiving, and always, always loving. I will live out her legacy.